Hey Internet, I'm Chaz.
And I'm Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business, episode 316. We're here today with two of the Willamette Valley's floppy-haired wine gentlemen. Here to talk about a wide range...
Yeah, let it out.
A wide range of wines
got that out
from Jackalope Wine Cellars. Here with Corey. As we move into the first wine, why don't you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start Jackalope and what you really hope to be doing with the label going forward?
Oh, such deep questions to
Yes.
start off with. Yeah. So I civil engineer for a long time. Never loved the work. Never really got into the industry. Ended up sort of falling into the wine industry 2010. Loved the people. I loved the work. I like getting dirty.
Shout out to the first job. Who
Arcane Cellars.
Oh,
Down
nice.
right next to the Wheatland Ferry.
Cool stuff down there. I'm a fan of their Riesling most years. Which
Great stuff. Yeah. Beautiful site. Worked in their tasting room, did special events for them, and then worked my first harvest at Owen Row.
Cool.
Just loved the people, and just kind of dug it, and it was cool getting to the, a year down the road, being able to look at a bottle of wine saying, I had a hand in this.
Yeah.
Even if at that time I was
That's
just
exciting.
doing punch downs, it was still something I hadn't had before where I could say...
And it matters if it's not done, right?
Right. So that was fun. Kind of fell into a bunch of jobs after that, and it snowballed from there up until 2012. Started the label, 90 whole cases.
It's awesome.
Started big enough so that I felt like it was financially viable to try and sell it, but not so big that if I was bad at it or screwed it up that I would go completely broke. And I was in an environment at the Southeast Wine Collective, a bunch of other folks around, so I could work with them, learn with and from them. So it was kind of a safe space, I guess, in which to start it.
Cool.
As far as where I'm going with the brand, this year I'm going to be up 950-ish to 1,000 cases, kind of depending on how many
That's really nice.
late season buys I go with, which always seems to
Does the
happen
price
to
go
me.
down as the season goes on?
Sometimes.
Okay.
But I always have people that come up to me and say, well, hey, I've got these grapes, do you want to buy them? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Even though I don't want to, but it's like Christmas. You have all these different things you can play with. So I'm kind of I'm not going to grow a whole lot more from where I'm at. Right now I can do all the work myself. I'm doing all the cellar work, I'm doing the sales.
Nice.
I kind of like being at that size where I can do all of the work, so...
How many cases is that?
Well, I don't know yet.
Okay.
We'll see. Talking to people, it could be up to maybe 1,500 cases.
Okay. Nice.
We'll see. We'll see if I can sell all the wine that I'm going to have now, and just kind of go from there. And I can change my mind.
Totally.
I feel like it down the road.
Totally.
But that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And consistent growth over a few years is a pretty good place to be.
It is.
Moving around making wine at different places. One of the things I really love about your story is that you've moved through a couple classic incubators on like a good path too. I hear stories of a lot of people picking up a job kind of wherever they can get it, but I feel like Owen Row, people who have worked at Owen Row, a lot of them are making wine in the Oregon wine scene today and doing pretty well for themselves. Making good wine for sure.
No, for sure. And sometimes it sems like everybody has worked
Yeah.
there at one time or another. It was a great place to start. I had some great people I learned from there, and it was a good place to start.
And I feel like the list of people who have passed through, and including those who do work in Southeast Wine Collective, has become a pretty impressive list too.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm sure everybody watching this show knows somebody on that list, knows one of the producers on that list. Wine number one, white wine.
Yes, label. It's a white table wine on the label, 2015. 100% Viognier though.
Well,
I'm ready for your comments.
yeah, okay.
Dan loves Viognier.
I'm almost 5 years in at this point. My skin is thick.
Good.
Give me whatever you've got.
Just like the skin of lots of Viognier grapes.
So, I mentioned before that late season, maybe I'll pick up something. This was one of those grapes that in 2013, Jesse Skiles from Post Peace showed up at the Wine Collective, truck full of Viognier, said, the vineyard was amazing. I had to buy all the grapes out of it. I don't want them all. But I couldn't pass them up, so he talked me into buying a half a ton off of him.
Sure.
So it was, I hadn't planned to make a white wine, but sure, why not? We'll go with this and see what happens. And the vineyard was great. I was really excited about it. Happy with the way the wine turned out. The following year, the vineyard kind of disappeared. So I started working with Quady in Southern Oregon. Got some grapes from him from a vineyard outside of Ashland. And then last year, that missing vineyard, it was out in the gorge, reappeared. So this wine is a blend of fruit from the Washington side of the gorge and also Southern Oregon.
Can you name the vineyard, or is that a secret?
The one in the gorge is called Lang of Underwood Mountain.
All right.
And the one in Southern Oregon is called Serenade Vineyard.
All right.
So it's about 70-30 Washington, or 70-30 Oregon to Washington.
Okay. Pears, little nutmeg, little a little pear core in there.
A little hint of citrus. I'm
Sturdy,
trying to. There's like some sort of like aroma to it that I'm really keep trying to nail down. It's something I've smelled before, but I can't really place it. Unfortunately, this happens sometimes.
Beauty, I think is what that is.
It's beauty.
Beauty.
Shit. There you go.
Take our
Beauty. A little bit of a buttery aroma.
So just a little more on the production of the wine.
Yep.
The fruit from Washington, put it into neutral French oak. It went through malolactic.
Okay.
The stuff from Southern Oregon went into stainless, did not go through mallow. So I like to say it's got anything anyone's going to want in a white wine.
It's got a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah. And that was just a product of how the grapes came in and what I felt I needed to do with them.
I feel like you can taste the mallow. There's definitely some of that richness there, and kind of the round texture. A little bit of light citrus acidity.
Yeah, I mean, it's still got good fresh fruit flavors, right? Like the pears, a little bit of appley aroma, flavor to it, but the citrus sticks out. I'd say most. It's good. I like it. For Viognier, I also I don't know if it's Dan's. Like Dan got me into Riesling,
Oh, no.
but Dan's also like I definitely am way more critical about Viognier now.
Pushing you down the slope.
You're doing it. You're like, this is everything that's wrong with Viognier, and I'm like, you're right. no, not this one.
Well, and I'd be, you're not the first guys to tell me that they don't love Viognier. I get a lot of that out in the market. Some people love it. Some people really don't like it.
I felt like I'm kind of on a shameful little island out there, but I guess not.
You are still special.
Yeah, okay.
You have your own thoughts.
Yeah.
But no, I think a lot of people expect the Viognier to be really perfumey, really heavy, really thick, maybe a little bit sweet.
This is not those things.
Right, and that's not what I'm trying to make.
That is worth saying, too. I generally prefer it when it is not sweet, and this is not sweet. I think, it would definitely be to its detriment if it was. I think.
And, it's all personal preference.
Entirely.
At least you didn't dump it out.
No.
It's got really nice acid, right? Like, and decent length. It's a nice white wine. It's just, not. It's Viognier. So there you go. Sorry.
No, that's...
Is this worth talking about?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah. We'll throw a photo up so you know what I was looking at. But
So, I've got a dragonfly in the front label. It is the Pacific Clubtail dragonfly. It's a dragonfly that's endemic to the region where that first vineyard is. Not doing very well.
Sure.
As a lot of insects are
Insects that hang around agricultural areas.
They have some issues.
Yeah.
So the Xerces Society is a nonprofit here in town. They are working, I won't even try to give you their mission statement because I'll get it wrong, but they're working with the little critters. They're trying to work with invertebrates in their habitat to try to save them, essentially.
Cool.
So 10% of sales of this wine I donate to them. Trying to give a little something back.
Very honorable. That's cool.
I'm going to get started pouring the second wine. A little rinse.
Wash that Viognier out of your mouth.
As you whoa.
Cool.
There we go. Nice.
Did I drip on you?
Oh, no.
No, I was dripping with the swirl there. How do you see? 10 years from now? How do you see white wine playing a role in your portfolio? I don't see you going 50-50. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think I'll be going 50-50. I mean, right now, kind of like this. Maybe it's like 70-30.
Sure.
But I kind of like it where that's at.
Yeah.
I don't see that changing very much. But you never know.
Yeah. Big fan of white wine. Yeah. Who knows who shows up at your doorstep with grapes you can't say no to, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, got a creeping for the off-camera pour.
Yeah.
It's a good choice. What is this wine? What do we have here?
So 2014 Pinot Noir.
Nice.
All from Crowley Station Vineyard, which is now called Silver Shot Vineyards. First year I got to work with them. It's an awesome little vineyard down in the Eola Amity Hills. You guys have probably had wines.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, Brienne Day's wines, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I love the vineyard's awesome. It's own rooted. It's non-irrigated, basically organically farmed. It's an awesome space that my buddy Jim and his dad and uncle planted late '90s.
Oh.
So it's great to get to work with him and his family, and it's just a cool site. And I've been really excited to get to work with them. 2014 was the first year they sold me some fruit.
Nice.
So just harvested. A few days ago, harvested third vintage from there.
Awesome.
It's quality stuff. So in 14, I made about 50 cases, all neutral oak. The reds and the white, all native ferments.
Oh, really? Wow.
Haven't pitched yeast on anything yet. And
Wait, not a single wine you made?
No.
Wow.
I've used,
Boy, as an engineer, that had to be a tough leap the first few times too, right?
a little bit, yeah. I mean, part of
Okay.
it's the people that I'm around.
Sure.
The first couple of years I was around a lot of people that don't do that. So
Sure.
That's kind of a lot of what I had, not necessarily as a guide, but as bumpers to kind of help me figure out what it was I wanted to do. And they were doing it at work. First couple of years, I had no problems with any of my ferments. I still haven't.
That's awesome.
Knock on wood. The last couple of years, I've started making like little starter cultures with grapes from the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Just playing it safe in the new facility. But yeah, no yeast yet. And
Cool.
the reds are unfined and unfiltered as well.
Nice.
Well, the aromas are definitely intact here, big time. The smells.
Yeah, it smells
awesome.
red. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of red fruit, a little bit of dark fruit, flowers, dirt.
Yeah.
All the stuff you like about Oregon Pinot Noir, it's in the nose here. This is really nice.
Flowery, cherry fruit, strawberries. Yeah, it smells awesome.
Any new oak on this at all?
Nope. No, I don't. I've had 2 new barrels. That's all I've ever used. With the quantities I'm making, it would really kind of cover up the
Sure.
fruit. I think if I was using a lot of new oak, and that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you need to make a lot of wine to do 20% new oak, right? Like, yeah.
And new barrels are also really expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, with only 2 barrels, I wasn't going to throw any new oak at it because
That's
just would be
50% or
silly.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
The texture on this is killer. Similar to what I like. I'm sure we're going to talk about Cab Franc later. Yeah, we definitely are.
Yeah.
But one thing I liked about your wines when I first tried them earlier was the texture, and I think this Pinot Noir has very similar. It's like really soft texture, like really well paired with like the acid and the tannins, and like a good minerality. Yeah, it's awesome.
And these 14s, yeah, good.
No.
These 14s rolling out on the market now. This brings to the table a lot of what I love to see with the young wines, where it's fresh and fruity and easy to drink, and there's still like good complexity and interplay with the fruit and the floral flavors. I can't imagine somebody not liking this wine.
No,
like maybe if you're expecting something big, heavy, and tannic, this isn't what you should be drinking. But if you like Pinot Noir for its lightness and its fruity character, man, this brings it home.
Dan nailed it. Yeah.
And you could drink a lot of it.
Dan's getting inspired
You
here.
can drink this all day.
I want you to drink it all day and drink lots of it.
Yeah.
And again, it's a great vineyard. What I can do in the winery is directly related to what happens in the vineyard. If I don't get good fruit, can't make a good wine. And
Right.
I think a lot of this speaks to what they're doing in the vineyard. I just think they're doing it right. I like what they're doing.
And 14 is great for that, right? Big high yield vineyard. A lot of smaller and newer producers like yourself were able to get a hold of quality grapes.
Yep.
And work and it's not like the seconds that were rejected by everybody else, right? There's still good ripeness. The grapes are still in a good spot. So I think, 14 Pinot Noir is a good year to get out and explore people you haven't tried before.
Yeah, agreed.
And what are you charging for this? Retail? Suggested retail?
29 retail.
Yeah. So
Worth it.
Yeah, price like entry level Pinot Noir from a newer producer, and that's where great value comes from a lot of the time. This is a good example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, coffee's doing its job. Sorry, everybody's giving me looks.
I just like how pumped up you are right now. It's
I do
freaking
too.
awesome.
I love it.
Good.
I'm like just sitting here, let's let Dan run with it.
You guys just say nice things, and I will sit there and absorb them.
It's good wine. It's easy to say nice things about wine like this.
Exactly. I mean, this is the style of Pinot Noir I like to drink, right? It's just like light, very, very fresh. Doesn't have any sort of overpowering feel to it. It's just like really super easy to drink. I don't know. It's awesome. So.
Percentage-wise,
Yeah.
10 years from now, 25% of your production Pinot Noir, half Pinot Noir. Would you go all Pinot Noir if you could?
No. I don't think I would. I love Pinot. I love making Pinot. But it's maybe 50% one day.
Sure.
You never know.
Yeah.
What varietal are you really excited about? Like, what's the one that you're always like pumped to work with
Cab
the
Franc.
most? Okay.
Cab Franc. Yeah. And it's half my production.
Well, let's
More or
move into
less.
that.
And that's where your reputation is, I think. Maybe it's just because I read some good
We know
press
this
on you
one?
about it, but which one do you
Let's-
want to do third? Yeah.
Let's do that one first.
Okay.
I think.
And is this a new one?
No. It's the 14.
Did we do this one on the show?
I think I sent you a drunk tweet about this,
You
right?
did. Yes. You did.
We got hammered after the show, after the last time we did this, and some good photographs came out of it.
Yeah, I think you sent me a photo. If I recall correctly.
Yeah, so revisiting on Wine and Serious Business the 2014 Jackalope Cabernet Franc.
From Quady North Vineyard down in the Applegate Valley. Yeah.
Why?
Why Southern Oregon?
Yeah.
Why Southern Oregon?
As opposed to Washington.
I got hooked up with Herb Quady through a friend back in 2013. My first year I got Cab Franc from up in Washington. I was buying through Owen Rowe. David O'Reilly was nice enough to help me out and sell me some fruit to help me get started. Because
Awesome.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So that vineyard we ended up getting price out of in 2013. So I talked to some friends. Friends said, hey, this guy Herb is doing some awesome stuff in Southern Oregon.
Nice.
Her wines are great. So I said, yeah, talk to him, and he had some fruit to sell me, and we just kind of gone from there. And
Right on.
yeah, it's Southern Oregon's beautiful. The Applegate Valley is gorgeous. I've been really, really happy with the fruit and the wines that have come out from them.
That's
yeah,
what we.
yeah, and Herb's great to work with. Herb's a great guy, and yeah, it's worked really well.
Excellent.
Cabernet Franc something you were really into before you started making wine, or something you've come to love the more you spend time with it?
It's something, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Like it's one of those wines that kind of sent me off on this path. Had some Cab Francs that I just really loved. I'm like, oh, well, this is what,
What inspired you? Do you remember?
to make wine or to make Cab Franc?
To make Cab Franc. Like, what were the wines you're like, that's what I'm going to make?
I think it was
Like, what's your target? You know what I mean? Like,
What's my target? I'm not sure what my target is exactly. I'm trying to make wines that are going to show off what the vintage and the vineyard was like. I know
sure.
there's a lot of folks are saying that, and we meet it, and I have no other specific target other than that.
Yeah.
To me, Cab Franc has always been a little bit wild, a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit kind of a gritty wine, and very textural, and I really dig that. We were talking about Pinot Noir, and I love Pinot. It's a very elegant, very beautiful wine. I feel like the kind of gritty side of Cab Franc is a little more akin to my personality than maybe the elegance of Pinot Noir.
All right.
And I just love that. I love the wildness of it.
Cool.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to not tame it down. Just kind of let it loose and be what it's going to be. And again, working with great vineyards that just grow some great fruit, and there's just a wild side to these Cab Francs that I love it.
And I really feel like this is one of the areas where there's a lot to be discovered in Oregon too, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not 200 people making this kind of wine,
Right.
So there's a lot to learn about the places you're working with and your style and what really can come from this year over year.
And to speak from a business point of view, being in the Portland area market, having a Cab Franc is a much easiar sell than Pinot Noir. The Pinot Noir competition is huge.
I can't even imagine.
So much good wine out there. So many new producers coming online as well, making amazing Pinot Noirs. It's a challenge. Having a Cab Franc helps you stand. I feel has helped me stand out a little bit and give me something a little bit different.
Yeah, give you something to talk about, and especially we'll get onto this. A tasting room is in your fairly near future, and and I feel like having something besides Pinot Noir for people who've been out tasting all day too is going to be a really, really nice way to introduce yourself to folks. So.
For sure.
Yeah, boy, this
it smells great aromatically. Yeah, it's really good.
A little more earthy, a little more brambles. Yeah.
Yeah, I should say, like, I've always not really been on the Cab Franc or Cab Franc. Wow. Cab Franc train. What am I trying to say here? I've just never really liked them that much, right? And I've bought maybe one or two in the entire time I've purchased wine, in the last 10 years. But yours is the first one where I've actually like bought it intentionally at supermarkets.
That's
just because it has this freshness. It really focuses more on the fruit as opposed to trying to make this big red wine. I really like the use of oak. I really like that it's not so peppery, that it really doesn't focus on its like varietal strengths, but it still shows them, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've liked about it. I've thought about this wine multiple times. It's maybe a little bit more developed than I remember last time. Like, I remember being fresher, and now there's like more rich flavor to it.
It is a little richer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But still a really good sense of brightness, good acidity, like good tart raspberries on the front end, and a little bit of like tannic structure, a little bit of bitterness late, which in a lot of wines is kind of takes away from the experience for me. But I think the darkness of flavor and some of the other characters really work well with that, and gives more of a balanced experience, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, the texture again with the tannins and the texture. I just like the way you make your wines.
Thanks.
It's like I don't know, the tannins are just dusty and soft. They're definitely very present, right? They grip up. There's a good amount of tannins in this wine, but it doesn't strain me to drink it at all, right? Like, yeah.
I think my experience with domestic Cab Franc, in a lot of cases, is still coming from the school of thought that like riper and bigger represents higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
You see that a lot.
Not just Cab Franc. I think a lot of grapes struggle under that philosophy.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's not what you've got going on here, right? That
No.
you're somewhere more of a middle ground, and I feel like the fruit really benefits from that.
Yeah, talking with there's several of us working with Cab Franc.
Shout outs
here. Leah Jorgensen, Herb Quady, obviously,
Nice.
Division Winemaking Company.
Bam.
There's a bunch of us working with Cab Franc. I think Herb sells to everybody up in the Portland area at this point.
Cool.
But talking with some folks, and I kind of feel this way. The Southern Oregon Cab Franc, it's not Loire to me. It's not California. It's a lot of times comes out what I'm trying to make somewhere in the middle, where maybe it's a little more developed, not as green bell peppery as the Loire Cab Francs. It's not as bold and extracted as the California. It's somewhere, for me, it's that kind of sweet spot in the middle where it's still got some weight to it. It's still got the ripeness. It's just I kind of like where the Southern Oregon stuff falls. It's different. It's different. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a combination of you and Herb there, probably picking when what's right. But I really like how that plays out.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And we were talking before we started filming. The growers I work with, I really trust. So Herb, he knows kind of what I'm shooting for, and I trust what he does in the vineyard. I trust when he thinks we should pick. He knows obviously way more than I do about all of this, and
about
especially his vineyard. So I really trust him to kind of help guide me on when we should be picking and what should be done in the vineyard.
And this is all sold out now too, right? This is gone or no?
Nah, I have about 50 cases left.
Send you an email. Okay,
Yeah.
good deal. Got a mailing list too?
I have a mailing list. Send me an email.
Yep, do that.
This guy, the Pinot sold out, but Cab Franc, I have about 50 cases left.
Fantastic. Yeah, good chance to get that. And small producers like this, we're talking about a little bit before the show, right? Big deal to be able to sell direct, right? You're they're able to get the full retail price. You're able to get a good price on it, and that's the best market arrangement for them.
I'll even write you a nice little note.
There we go. Nice. Yeah.
Sign the bottle.
So get in
I'll sign
touch.
the
Get on the mailing list. And you said you just bottled the 15, right?
Just bottled the 15.
Yeah.
Almost 300 cases 3 days ago.
And if you're on the mailing list, you'll know about it when it comes out. Yeah.
And I think it's better than the 14. I like it better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I look forward to trying it. Well, we got one more wine to talk about.
Isn't that the 15?
Mm-mm.
No. What's this?
I should say it is a 15.
Yeah.
But it is...
Am I right that this started from essentially a joke when I was hanging out with you and Bo?
I mean, what doesn't start out as a joke when we're hanging out with Bo?
Rinse.
So this started out... My original idea was to make a Nouveau style wine with Cab Franc. The Nouveau craze has been kind of big in Portland. They do a little festival every year, and I said I want to be part of it, do something different. But because of various time constraints, I was not able to push this wine to be done in time. So partway through the process, I kind of pulled back and said, we're just going to pull back. We're not going to make it a Nouveau style. We're just going to let it sit and age for a while. So carbonic maceration, I put a little over half a ton of whole cluster grapes fully into the fermenter. It's a great little fermenter that looks like a teapot, so it's got a little lid on it.
Nice.
Threw the lid on, wrapped it with saran wrap after putting some fermenting Cab Franc in there. A little bit of dry ice to put a little carbon dioxide layer to protect it. Left it closed up for a week and was terrified the entire time.
Yeah, I bet.
This was the first time I'd ever personally worked with carbonic maceration, and I can say I know what I'm doing, but it's kind of not really.
Like the theory's there, but
the
who
theory's
knows what
there,
happens.
but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you close the thing up, and for a week you have no idea what's going on inside of it, and you're trying not to think of the value of the grapes that you put in there, and what's going to happen when I open the lid. So I opened the lid after a week, and it smelled great. The fermentation was going great. Closed it up for a couple more days, and then just couldn't take the fear anymore. So I pressed the grapes, maybe 10 breaks, and then let it just finish fermenting in a
about
barrel
half?
after that.
About half done?
A little over half done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and then I put it in stainless steel. My idea was to make a kind of a fat and fruity, fresh kind of Cab Franc.
Yeah.
Something, like a summer release.
Nice.
It's still technically summer, so I'm going to make
Sure.
that. Yeah, just wanted something, maybe throw a little bit of chill on it. Just, it's just for fun. It's just a kind of fun, fresher, fatter wine.
Cool.
And what I kind of like about how it turned out, it's got the carbonic qualities to it, but I think it still retains some of that, the Cabernet Franc varietal characteristics, which you can kind of lose those varietal characteristics doing it carbonic. So I think it's kind of a balance of the two, and
I don't think you've lost that based on the aroma. Like it smells like Cab Franc.
That's interesting. Whoa, so is this 14 also?
It's 15.
It's 15,
It's
yeah.
15,
okay.
yeah. So it's a very different beast than the bigger bottling I did over this past weekend. 30 cases, I think, is about all I have of it.
Okay.
But to be released very soon, right? Probably get the label on, get it out the door.
Picking up labels tomorrow, labeling it this weekend, and then it'll be ready to go.
Get on the mailing list, you'll find out about it.
This is just soft and juicy, right?
Yeah.
Like the acid's in a good place, pretty
Acid's
low.
in a good place.
But like the tannins are just, there's nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just that's not a bad thing in this case, right?
Right.
Like it's just a juicy, delicious wine.
I mean, if people were to ask me how long to age this, I would not say age it for a long time.
No.
Like the intention of this wine is buy it, take it home, and drink it.
Right.
I mean, it's perfect for Thanksgiving.
Sure.
I would say, yeah,
absolutely. That's actually a pretty good tip. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do to put the two Cab Francs next to each other, and
I do get a little bit of that green pepper on the nose here, just a hint of it. Not so much on the palate, but good complexity again. Definitely the acidity keeps it a little bright and fresh. A little bit of that bitterness in the middle kind of reminds me of cranberries. Now that we're talking about Thanksgiving, but yeah, definitely a little softer on the palate too. Lighter, fresher wine. Also a good time. Super unique bottling. You want to bring a bottle of wine to Thanksgiving. Maybe you're flying back to see family somewhere. You want to bring a bottle that your wine expert uncle has never heard of or seen anything like before. This is one you can take back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is somewhat geeky, right? Like this is a fun project.
It was a very fun project. Once I got past being terrified for most of it,
sure,
it was fun. I'm going to do it again this year, and I'm sure it'll be different.
You are. That was the next question. Yeah, you'll do it again, right?
I'll do it again this year.
Yeah. How long will you go before you open the lid this time?
We'll see. The more exhausted I am, probably the longer I'll let it go.
Sure.
I won't have the wherewithal to be terrified.
Sure.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Do you spend a lot of time just sitting and staring at it and being like,
a little bit.
Talking yourself down, walk away?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it wrapped securely? Is oxygen getting in? Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool. Well, to wrap it up,
I would
we're
obsess about that stuff too.
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
all of this. That's one of the things that keeps me away from winemaking. Is that just terrifies me. I talk to a lot of people that they're just like, yeah, my first couple vintages, I'm always like, yeah, things start out just fine, and then they get a little funky, and I feel like I just kind of watch $10,000 on fire just disappearing in smoke, or getting dumped down the drain. And then you talk to guys who've been doing it for 15 years, and they're all like, oh yeah, just hang on for another 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But
One of the first jobs I had where I was responsible for, closing tanks up, closing up the winery, just kind of buttoning things up at the end of the day, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because, the volume and the wine that wasn't mine, and one of the other winemakers in the space, I said, does this ever get less stressful? Do you ever not go home terrified every night? He said, well, no. You just learn to manage it better, and it's a little less acute. Like, okay. And it's true. I mean, you put a lot of work into this. A lot of money goes into it. There's always something that can go wrong, but you just learn to deal with it a little bit better.
Wow.
That's where the cheap beer and the whiskey comes in.
Sure.
A lot of whiskey.
Keeps things exciting. But some great news for you. You moved out to Day Camp recently, which is a facility started by Brian Day, and there are 10 producers working out of there right
This
now.
year. Yep.
And they're building a tasting room. So that's going to be, where is it located?
It's we're right on 99 on the southwest end of Dundee. So coming from Portland, go through Dundee, we're on the left.
So keep an eye on that. I don't know if they've got their own mailing list yet, but I'm sure they will soon. They're building a tasting room. And while I love Corey's wines, I love Brianna's wines, I think the real score in that tasting room is you're going to be able to taste wines from 10 producers in one single spot.
It's a good deal.
One
That's
stop.
going to be a good spot.
It's going to be a great spot.
And it's a lot of new and upcoming winemakers, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said before, that's where the value comes, right?
And a lot of different wines. People
Yeah.
are making Pinot, obviously, but there's a lot of other things that folks are working with.
Yeah, you get to see a lot of variety.
Exactly.
And a lot of cool projects, like a lot of experimentation, right? Like this Cab Franc, for instance.
Right.
So.
And it's walking distance to Lumpies. If you like.
I've never been. Have you been?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not too late.
But it sounds like we need to make that
Yeah, I
happen.
feel like we probably should sometime.
Yeah.
We could do a show there. Something.
Be interesting to see how that would work out. Yeah.
And anything we missed? Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, I think Viognier is a better grape than you think.
Fair enough. Yeah.
No, I mean I think you covered it all great. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining
Corey's
us,
also one of the guys that this is probably 2 or 3 years later than we should have made this interview happen. So I'm
Shortly
glad.
after the drunk tweet, it should happen.
I'm glad we're able to pull this together. Thanks for bringing, especially unreleased stuff, right?
Yeah, of
sold
course.
out stuff. It's fun to taste and talk.
It's fun to share it.
Yeah.
Fun to share it.
Cool.
Is there any question you would want to ask of the internet, the wine drinkers on the web?
Oh, these deep questions.
You don't have to. I mean, it could be anything. But for our 1 or 2 responders, people that will actually respond.
Bo's gonna
on
watch
YouTube.
the show. You know he's gonna watch the show.
Yeah, you know he's gonna watch
Oh,
the
if it's
show.
a question
Yeah.
for Bo, that's a different. I guess the question for the internet, what keeps you interested in a producer? What keeps you going back and buying wine from the same person?
Nice.
Time after time. There's a lot of wine out there, foreign, domestic. I think one of our challenges is how to get an audience and how to keep them interested enough to keep coming back and buying the wines. Because, I mean, I love it when people are really into the wines and really dig it and buy it, and I want you to keep coming back. I want you to keep buying it. Ideally it becomes a little community where you get to know the people that love the wines, and how do I get you to buy more?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I guess that's my question.
Yeah.
To distill it down.